It's Tuesday, August 19th. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is The Signal. Temperatures have changed. It's raining here in St. John's right now. But today on the show, we will talk to you about the impacts of high temps and drought conditions on this year's grow season. It's gardening day, folks. Michael Murray is here. The lines are open for your calls and questions. Well, we're back. We've got a gardening day here today the last couple of weeks because of the wildfire situation. We did not. We covered the wildfires. Today, it is, if you want to call in with questions or tips, the same as we normally do it. Michael Murray is here with me all day, all the hour. I don't think you're staying the whole day. No. For the next 55 minutes. 709-722-7111, 1-800-563-8255. You can text us, 709-327-8206, the signal at cbc.ca. Michael, when we were emailing about the show, and like I said in my introduction there, high temperatures, drought conditions. It's been a few weeks since I've seen you. A lot has changed. Talk to me about this summer and the grow season and just through your lens.
Yeah, it's been an unusual season for sure. I mean, we started off with a reasonable spring. I think I saw my wife Susan going out the other day picking blueberries. And there's a story in the blueberries. The thing is, first of all, there was a tremendous fruit set, but all of the berries are so small.
Right.
And my cousin was out picking on the weekend. He said on north faces he was finding better fruit set, bigger berries on the south sides, wherever there's south positioned places where the berries were small, no berries. So it had at a natural level, it had a tremendous impact. Deep, well-prepared soils did a lot better than shallow soils. Water retention is the big issue. Plants that are not well established. I'm seeing plants that are just planted this year, trees especially, that are struggling, that may not establish, that actually may die because it's been so dry and hot. Optimum temperature for plants usually is 15 to 25 degrees in the boreal region where we are. We've had 30, 33, 35 for long extended periods. I think about 2 weeks at least of really high temperatures. Those winds, although a relief in terms of a breeze that refreshes, but no good for fires and certainly no good for plants who are suffering because the wind just takes away more of the moisture from the soil and from the plants, and they have a heightened transpiration rate trying to cool themselves as they deal with this.
Yeah.
So those are some of the first observations. I think the other thing is, what do you do now in the wake of this?
Yeah.
I think back to the there's a number of farmers I know up in Conception Bay North, and I'm wondering about how they're faring, how they've done. I'm reaching out to some now, trying to find out what their circumstances is. But if you're a farmer relying on hay crops. I talked to a farmer the other day. He's a hay crop. He's starting to, cut hay, make hay, and it's down as much as 50, 60%. So the yields are way down. They're not getting that second crop of hay because it's so bloody dry. And then, is it going to now at this late date produce another crop of hay that may make the season? But I think hay to feed animals is an issue too, So those are sort of the things I'm looking at and wondering about as I see. Any place where you can keep water to plants, of course, you and I were just talking about your own garden, and in places where you were watering, you were getting good yields and good output. About a month ago in our garden, I observed that we had these yellow transparent apples that great fruit set, small. Then I said to Susan, if we got out there and watered those plants now and kept a watering regime going over the next month, we'd get some nice apples, which we did. And we've got apples on that tree that are, those two trees, they're, God, almost the size of my fist. So it's a question of access to water, how you are timely in applying the water. I've seen people trying to water lawns in the middle of the day. Absolutely, I just shake my head and said, it's evaporating as soon as it hits, So watering in the evening or early morning rather than set up a sprinkler at 12 o'clock in the day and expect that you're going to be effective is really, a fool's errand.
Well, last time you were in, you talked about water conservation.
Yeah.
You talked about, and this was before what happened,
Yeah.
and with the drought conditions, because it was like, hey, look, if this continues, we're going to have some drought issues. We need to think about watering and where we're getting our water from, and looking at water levels. And now, there are major issues on the island side of the province when it comes to some waters from well issues with folks.
Yep.
Some towns are having
Summerside,
major
sad story,
right?
Yeah.
Major water issues
Yep.
there, and then like you're looking around at the dead lawns everywhere and everything else, and thinking about where we are.
Now, the dead lawns is interesting because they look yellow.
Dormancy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dormancy.
Sorry. The dormant lawns, I should say.
Well, they could be dead too, because here's the other side. Shallow soils. This is the sad part of it. And I can remember back in the days when Landscape Newfoundland were lobbying municipalities to enforce a 6-inch rule at a minimum, which they did and grasped onto. But still, some contractors want to do 2 inches. If you're putting sod or trying to grow grass on 2 inches of soil,
sure, you can blow that off into the road. 2 inches.
It's 2 inches.
Come on.
So those lawns on shallow soils, they may not recover. But if you've got 6 inches, 8 inches, the water retention's up tremendously, they may recover. But I would not jump to any conclusions yet until, as we go in now to September, October, you'll be able to assess better, because we're going to get cool, wet, moist. I hope.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I hope. And if that happens, then those lawns will recover. You'll know next spring when it begins again if you've lost them or not. That's the time to react, not now.
Yeah. A couple callers on the line. We'll go to Jackie Feltham calling from St. John's. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. So I do have a couple questions for Mike.
Yes. No. Go for it.
3, actually. It's interesting, because I didn't get a chance to listen to any of the gardening shows all summer, and I started listening last week on CBC Listen, and you did the first program, and you talked then about how early everything was getting started in the spring, and you're wondering if it was going to be a harbinger for a beautiful summer.
Yep.
It was, obviously, but, harbinger probably not the cause of, but... Anyway, I have 3 questions. One is a quick one. I, in the process of decluttering, I found 2 pairs of, a pair of secateurs and a pair of the gardening scissors type thing. Yep. They're obviously very good, so I want to take care of them. Yep. The brand is Carpa, C-A-R-P-A. They're made in Portugal, not that that matters. Yep. Directions for care. Well, the amusing one is do not use this tool as a hammer, axe, or lever.
Good advice.
My late father used to use them for wire snippers, but much to my chagrin. But anyway, which is why I bought new ones. Okay, the directions, that's keep clean, I knew that. And then it says to oil after use. What type of oil would you use?
Oh, any kind of oil, like 3-in-1 oil would be okay, But it's funny you touched on that, because I pruned up some plants about a month ago now. And the first thing I did was I disassembled the lopping shears, the scissor shears that you're talking about, secateurs or hand pruners, taking them apart and then having a flat file and laying them down and then filing them in one direction and filing the back end of that cutting blade as well. That's the first thing, getting any of the grime or sap or anything that's on the blade, sharpening up.
I did that, but I didn't have the nerve to take them apart. I was afraid I wouldn't get them back together again.
That's the trick.
I'm known for that. Good I can take anything apart.
Yeah, good tools.
I can haul any carpentry work down, but don't expect me to get it back the way it was.
Well, good quality gardening tools are meant to be taken apart, and and they
know,
should
yeah.
easily go
Okay.
back together. And they're meant to be
Okay.
they're meant to be sharpened, or else you're really having a hard time. Oiling the hinges, that's important as well. And so I hope that answers your question, because good tool
It does.
maintenance.
3-in-1 oil is,
Yeah, something like that. I mean, machine oil, something like that. Yeah, sure.
yeah, okay. Very good. Harder question. Well, I'm in the process of redesigning some of the garden, getting rid of moving a couple misplaced plants. And there's 2 probably 40-year-old Weigelia there. And I tend to agree with my cousin. She said, I've ceased to like Weigelias. There's so many better flowering shrubs these days. Mm-hmm. And they are getting kind of woody. Mm-hmm. I would like to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. Now, I know I can easily chop them down, but I hate destroying anything. If someone wanted them, I'd be happy to give it to them, if they dig it up, of course. Is that feasible for a mature tree like that? Or should I just bite the bullet and...
No, I never give up on a plant. That's the first thing.
I know.
So
I'm the same way.
Yeah, so here's what
I
suggest.
hate, unless it's a nasty insect, I hate anything that's doing alive.
Yeah, but you're right. Weigelia gets woody. Its bloom starts to diminish if you end up in that situation. So what I would suggest to you is cut back hard. So if you have a plant that's 6-8 feet high, that's gangly, that's not blooming well, give it a good hard trimming back. So I would even
I've done that the last 2 years.
And has it come back again?
Oh, yes.
New wood?
You can't kill the damn thing.
Okay. So then you're in a mode to move or discard. If you're going to move or give away, what I would suggest now is take a spade and just go around the outside perimeter where the drip line is.
Right.
And just dig down with a spade. If you can get down a foot, cut the roots that are spread out. And so that's root pruning. Leave it then. Because like pruning the roots, it'll cause the root system to flush out, get better compact roots. Then in October, say we get to late October, that's the time to dig it up, move it to a new location, pot it up, give it away. If you're giving it away, whenever I see plants that we transplanted, I always like to think, where am I going to put you? Then I go to the place where I'm going to put them, dig out, and get ready for the move. Then this is a great day for moving plants, except it's a little early in the season and the recovery, and who knows where the weather's going from here. But if you're following that procedure and you get up to October the 20th, then it's the time to move it to the new site or pot it up and move it on.
Okay, so that's let the donee decide how they're going to take care of it. But if they want to give it a chance, that's fine. Now, bigger problem. I have a magnolia that I bought 3 years ago in the fall. 2 summers ago, it bloomed beautifully. It was 2 years ago I bought it. Bloomed beautifully for the first year. I was totally amazed. Last fall I had the heat pump installed, and the lovely contractors tore all but one low stem off it, installing the heat pump. Mm-hmm. So I phoned actually Mr. O'Neill when he was talking last year, and he told me how to do surgery on it. But I guess the Faculty of Business is not a recognized medical school because my surgery didn't take. But there's still the one stem that's coming up. The tree is obviously healthy with the one stem coming up. Yep. But I think my husband is right. Is that it's probably wise to move it just because it is in front of the heat pump. Yeah. One, you get like airflow and that out of it and so on. If I just hate it's in such a sheltered location. I hate to move it. It's basically only exposed to southeast. Mm-hmm. With protection from like the northerly and northeast and easterly winds.
Yeah, good, excellent.
It's a perfect location, which is why I hate to move it. But may as well let the thing give things the best chance it has in life. What time would you recommend moving it, and what wind conditions does it not tolerate?
Well, northeast wind you want to avoid. That's the
Avoid
first thing.
northeast?
Yeah, the
Okay.
northeast or north. That's the nasty wind. Again,
Yeah.
I would go
I
for...
always looked at northwest, and the northeast wind is rather warm. Northwest is your cold, dry.
Oh, yeah, it's your
dry
cold, dry, but
wind.
the storms come on those northeasterlies. They can
Right,
be
yeah,
driving high
okay.
winds.
They
So,
do, yeah, yeah.
a southeast location, westerly is not so bad.
Yeah.
So, again, root pruning now. Do that now if you can. Dig down around, go
Right,
out to the drip line.
Well, to whatever extent I can get.
Prep
I can
the
at least get 3/4 of the way around it anyway.
Prep the new site now to receive it. And I would, with a magnolia, I wouldn't move it until next spring. They're kind of sensitive plants for our climate. But I would think doing all the preparatory work with the root pruning, the site selection, excavation, soil prep, get that all done now through the fall, and then you're ready to move it. Say I would think 1st of May. Get it moved to that new location. A little bit of limestone would help. Small bit of fertilizer, not much, but get it moved to that new site with a good soil, good excavation. Good wide excavation. Don't compromise what I call a 10-cent hole for a for $100 plant.
Exactly.
So digging something that's 4 feet. 4 feet would be nice. 3 feet, getting this is width, depth, 18 inches would be nice. Foot, you're starting to compromise as you go. The bigger the better.
So about 18-inch depth, 3 foot wide.
Yep.
Roughly. I can get down to 18 inches in my garden easily.
Good. Well, that's the deal.
Okay, and 3 foot wide hole?
Yeah,
Roughly.
4 if you can.
3 or 4. Okay.
Yeah.
3 to 4. Okay. Final question that's related. The magnolia might actually go where my Carl Rosenfeld peony is, or where one of the Weigelias are.
Yeah.
What's the best time to move the peony?
Again, I would prefer to do that in the spring. The way to be on top of that is get a little stick to mark where the peony is now, and then in the spring, you'll see the stick, you'll see the locale. The peonies will start to show. Usually the end of May, you'll start to see. But once you see that first eye start to poke its red little top
I know
up,
what you mean. Yeah.
then pick it up. If you want to divide it, then do so, and then replant it. So 1st of May, start looking for those new shoots to come. Dig it up and divide it that time if you want to divide it. Peonies like to be divided. If they stay undivided for an extended period of time, the root gets burdened, starts to die out because there's not enough ability to refresh the root. So that's the best way to deal with that.
Okay, because I have heard in the fall, but you get contradictory advice on everything, right?
Well, I always things like herbaceous perennials, soft-tissued perennials.
Yes.
I like doing it in the spring rather than fall, unless I've got some real hardy, something really tough. That moves easy. That's, for example, I'm going to divide some Pulmonaria sometime in October.
Yeah, well,
very tough.
You do what you like with them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, up to a
Basically.
point. Up to a point.
Yeah, pretty well.
Talking about tradesmen, and not to be disparaging, I'm a tradesman myself. I've got a Red Seal certification, but it's not just tradesmen. I shouldn't say that, but generally people don't understand that plants are alive. And they'll do silly things.
Yes.
Do silly things like take a paint can full of turpentine or some wastewater from, and then pour it. Oh, we'll put it over here at the edge of the woods, and bang, kills the plant. Toxicity.
Yeah. I actually, as soon as they moved around there, I ran out to tell them to look out for it, and the damage was done.
Yeah.
I did notify the company not to complain or look for a replacement, which I could have pushed if I wanted to, I guess. But again, I didn't want to make it bad on the poor fella. But I did recommend that he also almost let my cat out the window. My indoor cat. But I did write them and suggest that they train their staff to be aware of plants and pets.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to end up with a Charlie Brown magnolia tree.
You're not prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in landscaping as a trade, when you're starting a new project, the first thing you do is a safety assessment. understanding where are the hazards, where are the problems, where are the
Okay.
plants that I don't want to damage or injure. And then we ribbon them off, take them out. We just exclusionary zone. Don't go here, Mr. Backhoe Operator, because this is an exclusionary
Yeah.
zone. So those
Yeah.
are those are important things to do before you start a project. Look at the risks and look at the exclusions.
Yeah. Well, the company that replaced my roof, I do recommend them because I told them how much I thought about my huge perennial garden at the back of the house. And the only thing I found in the spring for any damage cleaned up was half of one shingle that got underneath the peony.
Not bad.
It's pretty good. Can't complain
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
but he made it very clear to them that the cleanup is part of the job, and they did a bang-up job on it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate your time. Thanks very much,
Take
Mike.
care. Take
Thanks,
care.
Jackie.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Jackie Feltham calling from St. John's there. Let's go to George Williams on the line from Gander. Hi, George.
Adam, thank you for taking my call.
Hey, no, thanks for listening.
Hi, George.
Yeah, Michael's here. Michael Murray.
Michael, always a pleasure to hear you on the radio.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to remind people that this year the tent caterpillar is back. I've had it in my crabapple trees and my service berry. Now, a lot of people say to cut it off and burn it. I just take them and I just squish them between my hands.
Right.
It seems like it does the job, but it's just like to make people aware. They probably better check. I don't know. I guess it's just in the prunus family or something, maybe.
Yeah. Well, a tent kelp, they can attack just about anything. It's funny. It's a pest that's kind of an introduction. And back 30 years ago, you wouldn't see much of it. I wonder, as I watch climate change happening, do those kinds of insects that were marginal, are they be able to survive and overwinter because our climate is changing? And now you're seeing those insect problems that weren't there a generation ago are now finding a happy home where soft winters and long summers like we're having hot. Does that create conditions that really give that opportunity for those insects to establish and grow and become part of the population of insects that we deal with on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think that these people who don't believe in climate change, I think there's something wrong with them. Anyway, I'd like to know what your opinion is on deadheading rhododendrons. Do you think it actually makes any difference to the blooms for the next year, whether you deadhead or not?
Well, on the textbook side of things, like so much, yes, it's sort of a good practice to deadhead plants. It's a tedious piece of business. I myself have a big, huge grove of rhododendrons. I don't spend any time deadheading them. I threaten to from time to time, but I find that a tedious kind of task. And the bloom is as good. Well, it wasn't that good this year, and I'm still threatening, should I next year do it or not? But, it's textbook approach, yes. Practicality, maybe. If the plants are big and gangly and look great and are flourishing, hey, give it a buy.
Yeah, I got probably about 10 large rhododendrons and azaleas, and this year in Gander, they were spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing now. You've had a spectacular bloom because we probably had a very good season last year, which, had those embryonic flowers set, and now you've enjoyed them. Maybe in this case, you might want to do a little light pruning, cut back a little bit, deadhead a bit. It'll make the plant thicker and eventually give you more bloom. But how much bloom do you want?
I don't think mine could hold any more bloom.
You're at the zenith.
Michael, I'm just wondering now, it seems like summer's getting hotter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how about people thinking about planting, instead of grass, planting white clover, and what kind of conditions does that stand up to?
Yeah, a wonderful idea. Bluegrass is, Kentucky bluegrass grows in the moist, deep soils of Kentucky, and that's wonderful if you're into Kentucky. It's kind of an out-of-place kind of plant here, and it thrives because in the past we've had fairly, moist, relatively cool summers. It can take some heat as well. But I'm with you. I think you can move on to using white clover. The big thing is to get the pH 6+, lots of limestone, then overseed. Spring seeding would be best. We've been going through several fields at our farm where we're basically using rye, some peas, clovers, both white and red clovers. And we're just using it as cover crop, and then we're just going to plow it down in the fall here, may put on another cover crop in those fields we're trying to renovate. So, yeah, paying attention to that. It also has some drought resistance, stands up to higher temperature. I have used it on a lawn that I own at our summer place, and I seeded it. I've mowed it twice this year. It's very dry, too. I mean, that's contributing to it. But, yeah, I think it's a much better choice. And then the other piece of it is, which I'm never uptight at, I like the biodiversity of clover. I tell you what I don't like I don't like Russian knotweed. That gives me the shivers. But I can live with everything else.
Is Russian knotweed the same as Japanese knotweed?
No, different creature. You'll see it in bloom now, purple flower on a brown thistle-type head, grows to be about 18 inches high. A lot of seed comes with it, spreads readily, and has this knotty kind of basal growth. That in a lawn, as I said, gives me the shivers. But then, that's about the only plant that really gets me uptight. I even live with plantain in the lawn.
Goatweed?
Goutweed, not really, no. I got to say, that's an offensive plant.
Thinking about what you're talking about, blueberries, I got to tell you, this year I had the most spectacular black currants. I'd never seen the like of black currants before. Now, they're in probably a fairly shaded place and stuff, and I water them, but it was amazing. There was just tons and tons of black currants.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, black currants are even healthier than blueberries.
Yeah, I had the same situation. Water is the secret. The shade was the other secret. I had a tremendous crop of gooseberries, and my wife made some. It was amazing. We had those Pixwell, those kind of red-tinted gooseberries, and the jam turned out to have this brilliant kind of rosy red color to it, and it was nice. It's a long time since I've had gooseberry jam. It goes back to my childhood, but I'm hoping for more because the other side of gooseberries is the jam's lovely, and I was impressed with the recipes used. And then there's a chutney you make that's really nice that my mother used to make. And that's my goal now, is to get more gooseberries.
There you go. I like that.
Finally, Michael, I'd like to ask you, I grow a lot of begonias, and I'm just kind of curious. Years ago, somebody had told me if you pick off the male flowers in the begonias that you'll have better blooms.
Woo! And now you're challenging me.
I had to get one in there.
That's tedious. That's tedious going around trying to determine the sexes of flowers. But
I think normally there's usually the big bloom, which I think is the female, and the two little side ones on the side of it is usually the male.
There you go. There you go. For the pollination. So tell me, do you keep the tubers? You dealing from tubers or roots? What do you?
No, I keep them. What I do is I got them in pots, and I just cut them back in the fall, let them dry, and put them in the basement. And I tell you, I got a couple of them out there. My God, they're just humongous. I got them in like a 14-inch pot, and it's overflowing. Just one begonia in one pot. Yeah.
We've been doing that with one that has variegated leaf, kind of a reddish with gold fringe on the side. That's a geranium, though. And again, I think this is its fifth or sixth season, and the same process in the fall, cut back hard, put in a cool place, try not to have too much freeze thaw, and then we put it in the spring, put it in a small greenhouse where it starts to flush, prune again, and then bang, on she comes. But yeah, that's a nice practice. Again, I remember my mother putting begonias out, bringing them in, lots of varieties of begonias as well. But yeah, that's a nice practice.
It's all an experiment, isn't it?
It is. I think that's what gardening is about.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so kindly. Always a pleasure to talk to you,
Michael. It's a pleasure to talk to you, George.
Happy gardening, everyone.
Happy gardening, George. Cheers.
Thank you.
George Williams, they're calling from Gander. Harry's on the line from Kilbride. Hello. Oh, hello, Harry. Oh, looks like we just Harry, if you're still listening, give us a shout back. 709-722-7111. Gremlins in the system. We've got some texts, emails and texts here. Let me see. Email number 1 with pick. Thank you, Arlette. I have a patch of quickly spreading knotweed. I've tried cutting the roots out. Also tried using salt on cut stems. Nothing has worked. Is herbicide my only option to be truly rid of it? That's from Cynthia. And then there's a picture of some
Japanese. That's Japanese knotweed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's starting.
That's the devil's own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always with that plant, it's about acting early in the spring when it first comes up. So it's a lot more manageable to deal with it then. In a non-chemical way, you got to dig out the roots.
Yeah.
You just got to dig out the roots, get it off site, burn it if you can, because it's a pretty resilient plant. Chemical approaches, if you're using Roundup, again, very, very early when the leaves start to flush, you get a good flush of leaves, you can attack it then with Roundup. I'd suggest a second application because it's so tough, and even a third. The digging out, if I'm in a landscaping project where I've got that as a plant I've got to deal with, I just use an excavator to dig out and look for the root and get it off site. Yeah. And if we see it pop up again on some part of the site, again, eradication, get it off site. It's a plant you really can't live with.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a fan.
No, I can tell. But it's invasive
great
species.
Cover though, it's got fantastic cover. I mean, I was just driving. I was marveling that there's 6-8 foot high knotweed on the way here and flourished.
Yeah. Yeah, it does well. Email number 2, good day. We have a black currant bush almost 6 feet high with lots of dead branches. It still produces fruit, but not much. Can I prune this now, and how do I do that? That's from Sheila.
If you can identify old wood, cut that out. So go into the base of the plant, cut out the dead wood that's there. That's not going to bear fruit anymore. The vegetative wood, keep that. Prune it back in size. Take back the head maybe by 25%. And this is a good time to do that. The fruiting period is over now, and so not a bad time to intervene.
All right. Joanne sent us a note too, a text with a pic. Good afternoon. Just wondering if the technique described earlier in the show for pruning a shrub could be used on a 20-year-old lilac that's sending unwanted shoots into the garden. Could I dig around the tree perimeter and cut off roots of these shoots, or is there a more effective method? Hopefully the photo helps with what I'm talking about.
You got a pic?
So there you go.
Okay, so...
Looks like a bunch of little shoots there.
Yeah, coming all over. Yeah, I'd dig out the shoots, cut off the shoots, try to keep the plant compact. It's not that big or gangly. So, try to control it by pruning out, going down, and chopping off those spreading roots. If you see deadwood in the middle, because as lilacs, I got a lilac now. I'm not ready to do it yet, but the older wood is getting there, and I know in its future I'm going to take out the older wood to get more sucker growth from the base of it. So it's a question of what you want out of the plant. In that particular sense, he's getting to be big and gangly. I'd small him up from the side.
Okay. All right. And let me just see how I'm doing on texts and emails.
I like the pics.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, I
like
when
them
you question
too.
with a pic.
Yeah.
And it gives me a shot at it,
Yeah, and it's like I enjoy, obviously, when folks are phoning and talking to us and we can work, you can work through the issue with someone.
Yeah.
But then if not, if it's someone texting or emailing, the pic then really just kind of helps you work
tremendous.
through it.
I mean, a picture's 1,000 words. But when someone says to me, I've got a yellow flower.
Yeah.
Well,
what do I do with it?
The most frequent flower in nature is yellow.
Yeah, right, exactly. It is gardening day here on The Signal. I'm Adam Walsh. Michael Murray is with me from Murray's Garden Centre in Portugal, Cove-St. Phillips. Still a bit left to the show. The lines are open, 709-722-7111, 1-800-563-8255. The Signal at cbc.ca. Text us, 709-327-8206. Another note here from Fred. See pic below. I believe these are Chuckley pear Saskatoon berries, and I'm curious as to the development of the berry as well. Many of these are quite ripe up on the hill, have some harder pits in it. Is that due to a Lack of water.
Yeah.
I mean, there's those
Drought. Yeah. Drought for sure. Birds love them. But it's drought that's really affecting them. Small fruit, as I was saying about the apples, the blueberries, same problem. Really hot, dry conditions. Fruit doesn't size up very well under those conditions unless you water.
Sampled some of the blueberries around Kiddie Vidi Lake a couple days ago. Same thing, small, very tasty.
Yeah, sugary, sweet.
Very nice flavor,
Yep.
but smaller than what you would normally expect.
And expecting that more fiber and probably a lot more of the various health components that are part of what blueberries are about.
Yeah, right. Another email. Lots of male flowers, no females. Male flowers have been blooming for weeks. What should I do?
Pick?
No pick.
No pick. What's the plant?
Don't know. But it is so. Oh, cucumbers.
Cucumbers.
Just told me over
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Well, you want to keep us males around to fertilize.
But but not getting any females, what do you do? Can you do it? Is there anything to do other than wait and hope?
Yeah, you go find a nice female.
Yeah. So hopefully one will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing much you can.
No, we're not going to do a transgender thing here.
Right? Like you need there's just looking here, lots of male flowers, no females, so you just got to wait, I guess, right? Like
Yep.
I mean, sometimes there's no solution.
No solution.
Right? The title of the email was No Cucumbers.
No.
So, Michael, I hope that does,
I hear you.
Yeah. We've been growing, we got one little squash so far.
Woo.
Yeah.
Now, when you say squash, there's a big family of
Yeah,
squash.
so I was about
What
to-
is it?
I think
zucchini, a pumpkin,
No, I think it's the
vegetable marrow,
vegetable marrow. That's the one.
white kind of
Greenish.
white.
Yeah.
Vegetable marrow.
Vegetable marrow.
Okay.
Had lots of flowers, so have fried a few of those over the summer so far, which is always enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of a batter and just a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, and
The tempura.
tempered them. A couple notes from my summer of learning, as we were talking before the show, but I'll just let everyone else. All right, we were growing arugula, and we still are. And when they went to flower, my wife picked them because, like the arugula flower, like in a vase, it almost looks like this. It could be from an impressionist painting in a way,
yeah.
right? The way it looks really gorgeous.
Yeah.
So let's just pin that thought. So then the other night, we take a glass of water each to bed. Okay. Now luckily, I did not drink my water. I woke up the next morning though, and there was like a green grub in it. I'm like, did this fall off the ceiling? Where did it come from? Later that morning, it was on the weekend, when I got up, I accidentally knocked the vase, and 4 green grubby things fell from the bouquet of arugula flowers, and these are cabbage worms, I think. And
green cabbage worms or imported cabbage worm.
And what I think I did was, when I was filling up the glasses of water before bed, I knocked it and one kind of plooped into it. And again, very thankful I wasn't thirsty overnight the other night, because
You got a little protein in your water.
I mean, it's not going to kill me, but it just
They're kind of pretty though. That bright green color is kind of interesting.
They were the look. I'll tell you, I don't know how everyone else's cabbage worms are doing, but mine are the chubbiest, healthiest cabbage worms. Like honestly, I was like, oh my gosh.
So, the first thing, whenever I see that white butterfly with the little dot, that is the butterfly of that particular pest. And that butterfly is mating and then laying its eggs at the base of the plant, and then out comes. So the first thing you see those butterflies, you got trouble coming down the road.
Yeah.
So, and it's late to take any action. Your only action at that time is either to get in and physically remove them by hand, soapy water to wash out, or try to use insecticidal soap. Then you go to the chemical warfare, which I'm not nuts about when it gets down to eating food. So,
No, we've just been washing.
So if you were using that white macrame or whatever it's called, that white plastic, white sheer cloth in the spring when you're planting, then that's the time to set up a frame around any of the members of the crucifer family, Brussels sprouts, arugula, cabbage. If you can get them planted, get that over them. That'll stop an awful lot of insect problems like cabbage worm and porta cabbage worm like that. Even root maggot, it'll stop that fly getting in and laying its eggs. So that kind of
next season project.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get that white macrame cloth and put over the top of it.
Because man, like,
well, I find it interesting with you because you're a novice gardener, and as we go along here, you've been learning more and more about the gardens and asking me questions, and I like that immensely. And you're learning and you're succeeding.
Yeah, it's coming along. Now, the other little buggy story to tell you, which I told you, but I'll tell everyone else, was because we've got Swiss chard, which has been doing really well. It's been hot and dry, but when the temperature dropped, and I'd watered the bed the night before, so temperature drops overnight, and I think stuff is still wet and damp, including the Swiss chard. So again, when my wife brought in some Swiss chard, the description I will use is littered with earwigs.
Ooh.
So my experience of processing the Swiss chard was intense, leaf by leaf, because there was about a dozen earwigs.
Yep.
And it was not.
No, it's not something you want to see on the plate.
It did not make my morning. And I think I get, like, as far as cleanliness for Swiss chard goes, gosh, I don't even know how they still survived the cleaning process, because I by hand 3 times washing and unfurling and just looking, and then
you got them at them.
Oh,
you got them.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of vigilance and sanitation that's required to clean up a plant before you bring it. I always
before we bring them in. So this is our little lesson for this past week of, like,
you need a wash tub outside.
Yeah.
And that'll be what I do is have a wash tub outside. Do the first soaking outside, so you can swish back and forth in it.
There you go.
Then you bring them back in, bring them into a utility sink or in the sink in the kitchen, and do the second washing, and then a third washing. But a third washing, you pretty much got it done.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we had a very lovely, last night, with the other Swiss chard that was left, very lovely in the rice and Swiss chard. It's a Korean dish that my wife made and was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I ate it not worried.
Not worried.
Not worried, sir.
Sanitation's it. I have the same problem with dandelion. I usually try to have dandelion in spring. Basically, it's an old kind of habit or thing that's part of my own culture, is having dandelions. As a kid, I remember my father con you into going, we're going line hunting. I said, what kind of lines are we going after, Father? Yeah. And he'd say, we're going after dandelions. So make a bit of an adventure out of it. Bring them back. But boy, he'd have huge amounts of dandelion, but that washing 3 times was an exercise you don't want to have. In that situation, straw, there's not too many insect problems. But slugs is another thing, which is interesting. This summer, slugs have not been a big problem. So hot, so dry.
Zero. Yeah. I haven't even seen any.
Nope.
All right, as I've been yakking here about my own stuff, we got some texts and emails coming in. Apple tree question. I have an older, lower-lying apple tree, about 20 years old. Some of the branches are very near the ground. It needs good pruning, thinning out. Can I do any type of pruning after apples are harvested this fall, or should I wait till spring?
No, I would start that. I would start that in the fall after the leaves are gone. Leaves are gone, fruit's gone. You can start that process. Again, you're right on thinning it out, crossed or broken, dead, damaged, diseased, and open the plant up. And if there's a stem that's going up, trying to establish the apical dominance of the plant, cut that fellow off. Cut them back so it keeps that spread and openness to it.
And follow up from Fred here. I picked 2 kgs coming back from a swim made jam. I think he's talking about blueberries because he talked about Saskatoon berries or chocolate pears, and also I mentioned the blueberries. Yeah. That's awesome. And then P.S. one thing about Japanese knotweed, as mentioned, is to dig up the roots and plant other plants that fight. And he used 4 exclamation points there. So someone's serious.
Yeah,
and that's a great point. Thanks, Fred, for that. Yeah. Let me see. Text, hi, Michael. Need help controlling this Arctic willow. Way too big. When and how to prune. That's from Mary here in St. John's. And we got another picture here.
Yeah. Whoa. It's up close to the house, too, isn't it?
It looks it looks close to right
prune,
next to the side.
See, willow is it comes back. So anytime you want to move it, before you're ready to move it again, prep the site. know where you want to bring it to, cut it back hard whenever you want now, and then root prune, as I've described earlier, and then move it to the new site. You could do that in the fall. They're so resilient. Arctic willow's a tough plant, zone 2.
Yeah, so get away from that house if it would be.
Get it away from the house.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Willow is terrible for interfering with water and sewer issues. Can be a problem. Keep it away from the foundation.
That's what, I mean, that kind of freaks me out. Like when you think of like the pipes, and then you get some of them that just search it out and then cause you some difficulties.
I was on a site in the middle of town many, many years ago. The sewer was blocked in the house. And so through the jigs and the reels, we got into the problem, which was the willow had gone into the sewer system and blocked it. And then we had got a plumber and had an auger and it's reeved it out and got it out of the way. We suggested to the client, let's get rid of the willow tree. Yeah. Oh, no, didn't want to do that. I told you about the Sally trees, did I?
Yeah.
I told you about the Sally. Well, that was the Sally trees, right? Some people love them. Yeah. And I like all plants, but there's certain plants, the right plant for the right place. Yeah. Willows, not close to the house, not close to septic or source.
Right.
Yeah.
Great advice. Here's another email. Hope you have time for one more. We do have time for one more. We could probably work in another couple questions. Let me see. I bought a gladiolus bulb earlier this spring. Yeah. Didn't get a chance to plant them. Can I plant them now or next spring?
Oh. It depends if they're dried out. If they've, if you haven't planted them and they're still fleshy, if you want to sacrifice one of them, slice them down through the middle of the bulb, sacrifice one to look to see if that bulb is juicy. I would tend to get it in the soil, try to get it to replenish itself. But glads are very soft tissue plants. They're not going to overwinter outside. But if you planted it now, got it through to October, late October, even November, then take it out, bring it in, and you might be able to salvage and plant early next spring. Glads do well when you start them early in 6-inch pots inside, then move them out to the garden, and you'll get the bloom earlier.
Got a note here from Nancy Walsh. No relation. Hi, Nancy, by the way. Adam, what is this growing in my grass? 2 question marks from Nancy. Here's a picture. And then it also says, can I/should I get rid of it? What does that look like to you?
Looks like periwinkle at first blush. Yeah. Blue flower? Maybe blue flower with it?
I don't know. Here, come on. Just here. I'll keep yakking as you come around here. Just to, in a future world, we'll have screens for everyone in the studio. Right? What do you think that is?
I'm not certain. It looks like it's a mix of dandelion with periwinkle. It's a mishmash of what I call undesirable plants.
A mishmash of undesirable plants. So then if Nancy wants to start to get rid of it, or should she just take it out?
Dig it out.
Get in there, Nancy, dig it out. I mean, that's the answer.
And separate them out.
And separate them out.
It looks like periwinkle. And wants to keep that, it'll root again because it's very aggressive.
Okay, all right. So there you go. That's one more caller here too. Sarah Zarel is on the line from Portugal Cove. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Michael?
I'm fine, Sarah. How are you?
I'm great. I heard you on the radio. Love to hear you on the radio. I had a question occur to me, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Good.
I got some beautiful sunflowers this year, really happy with how they turned out.
Nice.
And I wondered if you had some tips on harvesting the seeds, storing them so I could keep them for next year.
Have you got, so it's still in bloom?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you got to wait for you're going to have to go right into October, leave the plants, let them set seed. That should happen if you've got them in full bloom now, and we've got a lot of season ahead of us. When you get to the latter part of October, you've got seed set, and pick it off and just see. Open up the seed, take the husk off, see if the seed is viable, because the seed is inside a husk. Leave it in the husk if you've got good seed set. And then nice to put it in something like a gauze bag, something like that to let air circulate. Cool place, even a cellar or a shed where you can make sure that there's not too much change in temperature, consistent, cool. and then next spring you can see what you've got. I would then try to put them out on a planting tray, plant them, and check my germination if they're all looking viable. I mean, if you put 20 seeds out on a tray and cover them, and you got germination, then and you can count, say, out of 10, say take 20, and if you got 15 of them blooming, you got good viability. Now you're ready to take them and feel some confidence about planting them again.
Great. That sounds awesome.
How's your pruning going? How's your pruning going?
It's going well.
Good. I visited Sarah's garden this spring and had a workshop on how to prune some shrubs and trees that she had. Doing a wonderful job of putting back a riparian zone of plants at the bottom of her garden, and I have to say that's a very good thing to do. Too quickly, we cut out all the native materials around ponds and compromises the quality of the runoff that goes in and causes all kinds of other problems in water quality. So Sarah's a good gardener or a good environmentalist.
Trying to be. I appreciate your input for sure.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Let me know how you do with next spring now.
I will. I love the sunflowers. I just think they're so beautiful, and
same.
I'd love to have my own seeds and just keep them year over year. I think
that's a nice touch
great.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right, Sarah Zarell there, and sunflowers are gorgeous.
Yeah, right. I think it's interesting. They follow the sun.
Yeah,
follow the sun. If you get to, I bet you if we're in France right now, you'd see sunflowers in great masses growing through the French countryside. Beautiful,
yeah. Gorgeous stuff. We're let me see, a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Where's your head for the rest of this summer for the grow season?
I tell you what, I'm very interested. I'm waiting for when the fires and the evacuations and all the things, the dust settles. I went up and had a look when I was here early in the spring and the first fire taking place. I was amazed at the devastation. I'm interested in getting up there again. I'm interested in how succession of the forest will take place in those injured areas. I'm also interested in how you can assist that. I've been reading around things like reforestation projects, government programs to help do reforestation projects. I've even thought about, as I was coming out here, the water line that went in, a new water line went from Windsor Lake into the city. When they were doing that, huge excavations. And I've watched the succession from that bare earth that water line created. And now a forest has come back. And I was thinking, how can you exhilarate or make that happen faster? And one of the things that occurred to me is if you were collecting alder seeds, the common alder, which is maligned by many, but it's a wonderful plant in succession because it fixes nitrogen and it also produces a great deal of leaf litter, which builds up the soil.
Right.
It's one of the first plants that naturally creeps into a fire zone and helps that regeneration process. So if you were combining alder seed plantings with reforestation of plugs with a lot of biodiversity, would that help bring back the forests? Particularly, in Conception Bay North, to go up, drive up there. What a beautiful landscape! What a beautiful natural landscape! And then the farms that were scattered through it over generations. Sad to see.
Yeah, and it's that conversation is going to continue. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Once we get through everything and the scope of the loss and the folks who are mourning, and then what happens next, and those are conversations we will be having here, and we will continue here.
Yeah.
One last question just popped in. Let's see if we got time to answer it. European ash. Hello. We had to remove a very mature European ash tree last year. The remaining stump is about 2 feet in diameter and 2 feet high, regrowing this summer with many shoots. Can I train this into a new tree? Pruning tips?
Sure.
And you've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Best thing is let it keep on coming. That's called coppicing or coppiced growth.
Yeah.
And it'll keep on coming. And what it'll do as it goes along, in that situation, I would take as many as 5 to 8 main leads when the leaves drop and say, I'm keeping these 5 to 8 major leads, pruning out the rest of it, and then encouraging that coppice growth of those 5 to 8 leads to make the new tree. Try to get it down to one single stem. I wouldn't do it. I would go with the coppice growth and try to keep 5 or 8 leads to be the main stems, and it'll regenerate.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
As always, I appreciate it. Michael Murray, folks. That's Gardening Day today. Tomorrow on the show, look, when emergencies strike, and we've been watching them this summer, first responders are the ones who are there answering that call. There's the physical toll, which we can watch. There's also an emotional and a mental one. Tomorrow, we talk first responders and mental health, what they face, how they process it, what help is available, and what more help is needed. That's tomorrow.